Hey everyone, welcome back to the homestead garden. I'm out here today doing some miscellaneous videos on how to maintain and upkeep your garden, like pruning things, tying things up, so on and so forth. In this video, I am going to be talking about sugar snap peas. It's one of my favorite things to grow here in the garden. They're so delicious that they often just get eaten in the garden and they never actually make it into the house. But these are a vining vegetable, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit about how I trellis them and tie them up and get them growing the best way possible. So here's my garden bed in which I'm growing my sugar snap peas. Ignore the overgrown lettuce in the background that needed harvested a week ago. But we're going to be focusing on the sugar snap peas, which are these lovely vining plants here that are starting to flower for me. So sugar snap peas are a vining vegetable. They do prefer a trellis, something to grow on. I am just using some T-posts with some fencing wire run across to my cattle panel trellis. I used these last year for my tomatoes and they were just a little too flimsy, so I'm doing the tomatoes on the cattle panels and the smaller, lighter weight vegetables on this wire trellis here. Sugar snap peas are easy to grow, but they can be finicky. So as you can see, some of these are growing absolutely beautifully for me. They're already 2.5, 3 feet tall, some of these. Whereas some of them are they almost seem stunted, like this one here. And these ones that are just shorter. So with these guys being a climbing or vining vegetable, they like being able to hold on to things. If they don't have something to hold on to, their growth tends to be stunted. As soon as they feel something that they can hold on to, they very quickly grow to the next thing that they can hold on to, and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, which really gives them a growth boost. So having them on a trellis is a really great way to get your peas growing quickly, get them growing healthily and being happy. But if you're not tying them up to your trellis, that can be a potential problem. Let me show you. So with some of these really tall ones that have done really well, I have them tied up with some baling twine. And so it's keeping them sturdy and secure to this trellis. Ooh, that leaf's broken. And allowing them to grow very quickly to the next thing they can grab onto. See their little tendrils? They like to hold on to things. But when they're not tied up, like this one for instance, it's growing a little bit slower and it's starting to reach out and grab onto the other plants instead of being tied up nice to the trellis and growing where I want it to grow. So for some of these this one's actually doing pretty well without being tied. So you want to make sure that you tie your sugar snap peas to the trellis, and this is going to allow it to grab onto it and grow very quickly to the next and the next and the next, allowing your plant to grow quickly and thrive and produce a really great harvest for you. So I'm going to go through here and get some of these untied ones tied up to the trellis so they're nice and secure and continue to grow for me really well. All right, so what I like to use to tie up my plants is a bit of baling twine. I have a ton of it because I get hay bales for my rabbits. But instead of using just this big bulky string, I pull the fibers apart and use that. So I just pull a couple fibers apart like so. Make sure they're twisted back together. And then I will use this to tie up my smaller vegetables. So we're gonna go ahead and I like to tie it to the wire first, nice and tight. And then I will do a loose loop around the plant to allow for growth, but to keep it in place where I want it. So as you can see, I tied it really tight to the wire here and left about a finger's width of space for the plant to kind of move back and forth and allow for this stem to get a lot bigger, and then knotted it on the outside of the plant. And this will keep the plant nice and secure to the trellis, allow it to grow and move, and keep it growing up where I want it to. So I'm just going to quickly go through here and get everything tied up that isn't tied, and just make sure everything's growing the way it should be. Finished getting everything tied up, and as you can see, nothing's flopped over the bed. Everything's nice and secure to the trellis. I secured it at each wire point where the new growth is touching, so everything's going to stay upright really nice on the trellis and really take off with growth here for me. Tying up your sugar snap peas to the trellis is going to take some of the work out of it for them, which means less energy spent trying to find a trellis, and more energy spent on growth and fruit production for you. So make sure you tie up your sugar snap peas for an awesome harvest. If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. It lets you know when new videos are up on the channel, and it also supports me as a YouTuber. Also, I am starting some live Q&A videos at the end of every month. I'm going to be doing them on the last Friday of each month at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you come and join me and ask me all of your questions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to grow where you're planted.